Alright, I know I'm fashionably late to the Widow's Bay party, but after binging episodes 6 and 7 in one sitting, I'm finally ready to join the Widow's Bay Wednesday Club. And let me tell you, after the emotional roller coaster of the boys and the testaments wrapping up, diving into the dark, twisted history of Widow's Bay was exactly what I needed. This is a show I've been dying to cover, and now that we've got the full picture of Richard Warren and the island's terrifying entity, I can't wait to break it all down for you. So grab your favorite snack, get comfy, and let's dive into the chilling revelations of Widow's Bay episodes 6 and 7. And yes, this is a spoiler-heavy discussion, so if you haven't watched yet, turn back now. Episode 6, titled Our History, is a masterclass in horror storytelling. It throws us back to 1702, right in the middle of a plague sweeping through Widow's Bay. The church bell tolls ominously, just like it does in the present day, signaling the island's hunger for sacrifice. The episode wastes no time showing us the desperation and madness that plague brings as the townsfolk turn on each other in a frenzy of fear and suspicion. This is where we meet Richard Warren, the founder of Widow's Bay, played to chilling perfection by Hamish Linklater. Richard is a man on the edge, desperate to save his people from starvation and disease. The island, when he first arrived, was barren and inhospitable. No food, no hope, just a slow descent into chaos. And that's when the entity, whether it's the island itself or something far darker, reaches out to him. It offers prosperity, but at a cost. Richard must make a pact, a deal that will bind him and his bloodline to the island forever. The deal is simple but horrifying. Richard must offer sacrifices when the island demands them, or the terrors will never end. The island will flourish, but its people will never be free. And here's the kicker. Richard isn't the one in control. He's not bending the island to his will. He's bending to its will. The townsfolk believe he's their savior. But in reality, he's just as trapped as they are. The episode takes a dark turn when Richard marries Sarah, a woman who arrives on the island with hope in her heart, only to realize too late what she's walked into. Sarah tries to escape with Richard's children, but the island's curse is merciless. Anyone born on Widow's Bay cannot leave its borders. If they try, they perish. And that's exactly what happens, or so we think. The episode ends with Richard buried alive, his body immune to death because of the pact. He's left in the dark, alone with his thoughts, for centuries. It's a fate worse than death. And it's all because he believed he was doing the right thing. The tragedy of Richard Warren is that he thought he was saving his people, but he only damned them further. Now, let's talk about episode 7, Seasickness, which brings us back to the present day. Tom, still reeling from his hallucinogenic trip in episode 5, is trying to piece together what's real and what's not. But the real shock comes when Wyck and Patricia dig up Richard Warren's coffin, only to find him still alive, or at least still conscious, after 300 years of darkness. Imagine that. 3 centuries of solitude, madness, and hunger. Richard is a shell of a man, his body twisted by time, his voice a rasping whisper. But he's still got one goal, to end the curse. He believes that if he, the last of his bloodline, dies beyond the island's borders, the pact will be broken and Widow's Bay will finally be free. Tom, Whit, and Richard set out on a boat, heading for the boundary where the curse holds no power. Richard sings a haunting sea shanty, Who Will Be the Last Man, as they sail, and the tension is palpable. But as they get closer to the border, Richard starts to panic. He doesn't want to die. He's terrified of what comes next. And in the chaos that follows, Wyck is thrown overboard, and Richard meets his end inside the coffin, aging rapidly into dust. Tom and Whit return to the island, believing the curse is lifted. But there's a final twist, a painting in the end that changes everything. It shows a child in the water being rescued. This isn't just a random painting, it's a clue. It suggests that one of Richard's children didn't die at the border, they were saved. And if that's true, then Richard's bloodline didn't end with him. It's still alive on the island. Let's talk about that painting for a second, because it's the key to everything. The painting shows a child in the water reaching out for help. It's heavily implied that this is one of Richard's children thrown from the boat before it crossed the border. If that child survived, then Richard's bloodline continued. And if his bloodline continued, then the curse never truly ended, it just transferred to his descendants. So who could that descendant be? The most likely candidate is Evan, Tom's son. Evan's mother, Tom's late wife, might have been a direct descendant of Richard Warren. And if that's the case, then Evan is the last of the bloodline. The curse would be lifted if he were no longer around. But Tom would never let that happen. He spent his whole life trying to protect Evan, and the idea of losing him is unbearable. It's a heartbreaking dilemma. Tom loves his son more than anything, but the island's curse is a force beyond love. It's a force of nature, and it doesn't care about Tom's feelings. It only cares about the pact. And if Evan is the last of Richard's bloodline, then the curse will live on through him. Now, let's talk about the characters, because they're what make Widow's Bay so compelling. Tom is a man haunted by his past. He's lost so much, and all he wants is to keep Evan safe. But his fear is making him blind to the truth. He's lying to Evan about his mother's death, and that lie is going to come back to bite him. Evan is starting to question everything, and when he finds out the truth, it's going to break him. Patricia, on the other hand, is a character I'm becoming more and more fascinated by. She survived the boogeyman attacks by hiding under her bed, but I can't help but wonder if there's more to her survival. The island has played tricks on her before, and I think it's sparing her for a reason. Maybe she's part of something bigger, something we haven't seen yet. And then there's Richard Warren. Hamish Linklater's performance is nothing short of phenomenal. He's terrifying, pitiful, and tragic all at once. The way he transforms from a desperate man in episode 6 to a monstrous figure in episode 7 is chilling. His voice, his movements, even the way he sits in that coffin, it's all nightmare fuel. So, what did I think of these episodes? I love them. Episode 6 is a standout, a short horror movie within the series. It's dark, it's brutal, and it's beautifully shot. The historical setting is immersive, and the horror is palpable. Episode 7, while not as intense, delivers on the emotional front. The boat scene is edge-of-your-seat stuff, and the final painting is a stroke of genius. The show balances horror and comedy in a way I didn't think was possible. The humor comes from the characters' interactions, their quirks, and their reactions to the insane situations they're in. It never feels forced, and it never undermines the horror. If anything, it makes the horror hit harder. I still think episode 4 is my favorite of the season, but episodes 6 and 7 are a close second. The performances are top-notch, the writing is sharp, and the lore is fascinating. I'm gutted I didn't cover the show from the start, but I'll be diving into the rest of the season over the next few weeks. So follow and subscribe to our channel, Movies and Series Madness, for more deep dives, theories, and reviews. And there you have it, Widow's Bay episodes 6 and 7, ending explained. The curse is far from over, and the island's secrets are only just beginning to unravel. I can't wait to see what happens next.